Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday Night Storm, GAW episode 59. My God, it has been a long road, and we only have a little bit of time to go up until Nitro 10. Coming up, both Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay in action, plus the Tag Team Championships. But first, we begin with Kenny Omega defending the GAW World Championship. Yes, folks, Ricochet is back. This is a match that was announced last week on the show. Ricochet, or last episode, I should say, Ricochet, the former Alpha associate, coming back to face Kenny Omega for the World Championship. Now, Kenny Omega has been very blunt that he does not want to join the ranks of champions that, to use his words, politicked their way back into getting an opportunity for and then winning the belt. Omega wants to prove that he is a deserving champion, and we always know him to be a fighting champion. Ricochet, former Cruiserweight champ here in GAW. This is certainly an opponent that could give Kenny Omega some trouble given the athleticism of Ricochet. Now, Ricochet is 1-7 in singles competition since Nitro 9, but don't let that record fool you. He is a much more dangerous competitor than it seems, because a lot of that happened from before he joined up with Alpha and became a much more, for lack of a better word, weaponized competitor. He was the Cruiserweight champion following Nitro 9. He retained the title by beating Pac. But then he went on to lose 4 matches in a row, including losing the title back to the Bastard. He ended up joining Alpha, and that is when he earned himself some more accolades up until it came into the GAW Classic, when he lost to maybe the 3 hottest wrestlers on the planet. Well, he's going up against one of the other hottest wrestlers on the planet. Folks, we got a World Championship match to open our show. What could be better? Both these guys are tremendous athletes, maybe the 2 best athletes in the world. You know, I think we do a lot of kind of generalization, and I do it too, where it's, you know, we're talking about 2 of the best, you know, 2 of the top 5. I would go so far as to say that these 2 guys are maybe the top 2 athletes in the world, and the only guy that I think would be close is probably Will Ospreay. So I think you're talking about pound for pound 2 of the 3 best athletes in the world. And Kenny Omega is about to show it right here. Look at this Omega deadlift, German suplex. He does it with such ease. It's amazing. Now Ricochet, on the other hand, if you don't know much about Ricochet, then what you should know is he brings a frightening level of speed. That is what his game is about. I think there's a lot of guys his size that kind of combine that athleticism and strength type of thing, and we've seen Omega do that. It's a big reason why he is a 4-time GAW World Champion. Ricochet is just pure speed. I mean, he is Usain Bolt in a wrestling ring, and we're seeing it again. Ricochet, beautiful Frankensteiner. And Omega answers with a thrust kick. You got to respect Omega for taking on a match like this. A guy as tough as Ricochet, as unpredictable, as fast, and as hard to counter as Ricochet is. So you got to give Omega credit for taking on a match of this magnitude. Snapmare from Ricochet into a rear chin lock. This is something that Ricochet is slowly adding to his game a little bit more. supplementing the speed and quickness that he has with a little bit more. And now Omega Snapdragon. The go behind into the Snapdragon by Kenny Omega. Now going for the pin, and Ricochet kicks out. The world famous Snapdragon suplex. Nothing better. And now Omega. Omega back waist lock. Omega has Ricochet up. And Ricochet turns what could have been a one-winged angel into a Hurricane Rana. Beautifully done. We saw Pac use the exact same counter. The one-winged angel, the move that no one has ever kicked out of. Now Omega on the apron. Ricochet could have him in trouble. Ricochet stands him up with a DDT. We're going to see some brawling on the outside here. I think that would favor Omega given his style. You wouldn't classify either of these two as brawlers, but certainly Omega, dropping Ricochet with a beautiful forearm, but then Ricochet arm toss onto the steel steps. Ricochet is going to get himself an advantage and use it to roll back into the ring. Omega follows him and hangs him up on the top rope. Ricochet stunned, and Omega takes advantage with a German suplex. Ricochet counters with a lariat. Off the ropes, kick to the back of the world champ. This would be something. Omega thought he booked himself a one-way ticket to Nitro 10's main event by winning the world championship from Pac at Tidal Wave, taking over for the former Alpha associate Hangman Page. But he could lose it all in a dangerous match like this. And we've seen Aleister Black do the same. If you missed last episode, Aleister Black put his Nitro spot on the line against former Intercontinental Champion Kofi Kingston. So both of the wrestlers in our Nitro 10 main event are very much willing to risk it all. Ricochet with a beautiful suplex combination. Omega making his way to his feet. Boot from Ricochet, caught. And now Kenny Omega, look at this, double underhooks. Omega hoists him up. Tiger Driver 98. The champ plants the challenger. And now a rear chin lock from Omega, really working on the head and neck area of Ricochet. And is it any surprise that the moves that Omega tends to use to get the 3 count tend to be a V-trigger knee straight to the face and a one-winged angel, a move that drops you right onto the back of your neck. Is it any surprise? And Ricochet, beautiful cutter. You can hear the fans chanting RKO. Of course, Randy Orton has made the standing cutter immortal in the world of wrestling. Now Ricochet up top, missile drop kick. That's a move that Kenny Omega's familiar with, isn't it? Ricochet's got himself a little bit of offense here into the corner. Drop kick, shotguns Omega off the turnbuckles. Irish whip off the ropes. Ricochet, waistlock. Omega with a clubbing blow. DDT. Ricochet reverses. Ricochet's looking good here. Ricochet's looking real good. Trying to take away Omega. Ricochet tees up the world champ. And Ricochet falls on the champ's body, leg hooked, but Omega kicks out. That kick to the face is something Ricochet has started using after he joined Alpha. Alpha has since, of course, gone away after Tidal Wave when he lost all of his titles and some of his associates. Omega once again going back to the well here, picking up Ricochet deadlift, German. And what part of the body does a German suplex hurt the most? That's right, it's your head and neck. And now Omega deadlift powerbomb this time. Monkey grip around the legs. Omega and Ricochet kicks out at 2. Wily veteran Omega is going to stay on it, and he needs to. Omega Snapdragon. second of the match. He saw Ricochet charging in with that lariat. Ricochet manages to get an elbow to stop the offense. Drop kick countered by Omega. And Omega floors him with a forearm so quick. Such a competent striker is Kenny Omega. Is there anything Omega doesn't do well? That's really the question. And now Ricochet, snapmare driver. Wow, Ricochet caught Kenny Omega off guard, and now Ricochet from the top. Ricochet, Phoenix Splash. Kota Ibushi made that move famous, but Omega kicks out. Ricochet diving back into Kenny Omega's pass for the Phoenix Splash. Deep arm drag, Ricochet straight back up, and a single leg drop kick. What a world championship bout this is. And it's not the last. The main event of tonight's show sees the Gorillas of Destiny defending the tag team championships against the Young Bucks. It's amazing, a world championship match is opening the show while a tag team championship match main events. And I think that just goes to show you the level of respect, the level of notoriety that the Gorillas of Destiny have gained. And of course their rivalry with the Usos is one that is rapidly gaining traction all over the world. And in fact, we will get to see GoD and the Usos in a remote interview later on in the show. So I can't wait for that. Meanwhile, Ricochet bouncing Kenny Omega's head off the apron, and Ricochet hits him with a knee. That is a Japanese-inspired move that Ricochet pulls out, and now Ricochet going for the cover, doesn't have the leg hooked, and Omega kicks out. Not a great cover from Ricochet. All the same, the one and only heading up top. Ricochet, 630, nobody home. No one there, and Omega, Snapdragon. Pulled him up and drives him down. Snapdragon suplex, Omega retains. The wily veteran Kenny Omega scouted the 630, saw it coming, moved out of the way, and then picked Ricochet up, hit him with the Snapdragon, and that was enough pressure on the head, neck, and spine of Ricochet to put him away for the match. It was, if my math is correct, I think it was the 4th Snapdragon suplex of the match. Wow, tremendous stuff from Kenny Omega. Coming up next, Zack Sabre Jr., the newest member of the Mob, Conor McGregor's dangerous group, will be in action. But first, Tegan Knox, whose teammate Dakota Kai has had some words for Casey Catanzaro recently. Tegan Knox is standing by backstage.
Am I offended that Hernandez called me out? Not at all. Who else would he call out? What I am offended by is the fact that Hernandez is a washed up nobody. Never has been, never will be. They call him Supermex? What kind of a nickname is that? Piss poor, in my opinion. And a man who thinks that tag team titles somehow make him legitimate? Please. You never had an opportunity to win a singles championship in a major company, and you never could even if you did. So, Rosita, next time, have the guts to come to me yourself so I can tell you to stay out of my way. Earn your shot. And then maybe I'll give it to you.
I gotta be honest, I think Tegan Knox hit a little below the belt there on Hernandez. The guy's a tag team specialist. I mean, come on. But, you know, that's part of the game for Knox and Dakota Kai as of late. Anyway, Sin Cara entering the ring. He has drawn the short straw, and he takes on the unenviable task of fighting Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre is maybe the most dangerous technical cruiserweight on the planet. Of course, we don't draw weight distinctions for our belts anymore here in General Admission Wrestling. Will Ospreay saw to that when he unified the Cruiserweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship back at GAW Winterfest. But Zack Sabre Jr. weighing in at just 203 pounds. He remains maybe the deadliest technical wrestler in that weight class. And now, to make it even worse, here he is coming out with Conor McGregor. Can you imagine anything more dangerous than this? Well, Sin Cara, he can't, because he's going to have to fight him right now. Sabre coming out with a drop kick. Sin Cara able to push him away. 10-minute time limit on this contest as well. Zack Sabre Jr. is 1-3 in GAW. Of course, he is not a full-time competitor here. He spends a lot of his time overseas, over in New Japan specifically, where he's on a great little run right now. But he has come back to GAW to be a part of Conor McGregor's mob, which consists of Sabre, McGregor, and Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley. Sabre joined the mob. Oh, you got a cover here on Sin Cara. Man without a face, able to kick out. Sabre was able to join the mob I believe 2 episodes ago, if I'm correct on that. He was taking on Will Ospreay in the main event of a Wednesday night Storm. Conor McGregor distracted the referee, came in, hit Ospreay with the proper 12 send-off, and it allowed Zack Sabre Jr. to pick up the win with the octopus stretch. Will Ospreay coming up next in this match as well, and now Zack Sabre turning his attention to an armbar with the leg trapped as well. So this puts a lot of pressure on the shoulder as well as the groin area, but Sin Cara is able to free the leg and free himself. Zack Sabre Jr. keeping up the pressure here as Sin Cara hits him with a drop kick. Conor McGregor coldly looking on in Zack Sabre's corner. This is something that McGregor has become accustomed to. He is also, of course, accompanying Bobby Lashley as well. Sin Cara goes for a cover. Zack Sabre kicks out. McGregor is a big reason why Lashley was able to win the Intercontinental Championship from the dominant Will Ospreay back at Tidal Wave. Sin Cara dumps Sabre into the corner, floors him, and now a Meteora straight into the head of Zack Sabre Jr. And now Conor McGregor getting himself involved for the first time. Sabre with a dragon suplex. He must have been watching Kenny Omega. Now Zack Sabre with a lariat drops Sin Cara, and another one. Sin Cara up, lariat ducked, and Zack Sabre with a third. You can hear the fans not too happy about Sabre taking the offense in this match, and now Zack Sabre once again has the leg trapped armbar. Incredibly painful submission here, but again Sin Cara is able to free his leg, and this time is just has to wrench his arm free. But now Zack Sabre Jr. takes advantage. Cattle mutilation from Zack Sabre Jr. Dangerous technical wrestler, but Sin Cara once again able to free himself somehow. The sheer volume of submission that Zack Sabre puts you in during a match is overwhelming to so many, and somehow Sin Cara is able to withstand many of them so far, and we're seeing another one. Count them. This is the 4th different submission move we've seen this match. This time single leg camel clutch. Again Sin Cara able to work himself out of that, but Zack Sabre picked up reverse DDT. Cover from Zack Sabre Jr., and Sin Cara just able to work his shoulder off the mat but it was not a confident kick out. Zack Sabre, cutter attempt countered by Sin Cara. Float over, neck breaker. Sin Cara trying to take any advantage he can in this match here. Zack Sabre to his feet. Sin Cara with a backflip kick to the head. This might be the opportunity for Sin Cara. Arm locked. Oh, big forearm from Zack Sabre Jr. Kick. Sin Cara tries to go off the middle rope for the Hurricane Rana. Zack Sabre out of the way. And now Zack Sabre Jr. with a single leg high angle Michinoku driver. High stack. No, Sin Cara able to kick out. Sin Cara has been everywhere, and now look at this. The man without a face using a technique that Conor McGregor is familiar with. He's taken the turnbuckle pad off of the top turnbuckle in the corner. Northern Light suplex from Sin Cara. Bridge, Sabre kick out. At this point, I can't even use verbs. I'm just trying to describe to you what I'm seeing. This match is kicked into a third gear, and it is awesome. Again, Sin Cara signals for this beautiful cartwheel backflip kick. Zack Sabre Jr. had it scouted that time. Deep arm drag from Sin Cara. And now look at this, Sin Cara. Hammerlock DDT. Wow. Zack Sabre could be in trouble here as Sin Cara goes for the pin. Zack Sabre Jr. kicks out. And I think that's the advanced training that the mob is putting these guys through. Sabre able to withstand that move. But Sin Cara has really taken advantage in this match somehow. It's almost amazing. Sabre trying to consolidate a victory over Will Ospreay as both men back in the ring, and now Sabre has Sin Cara up. Look at this, Sabre into the powerbomb position. Oh my God, Sabre throws him out of the ring. And now he will follow. What a brutal move. A powerbomb just sent Sin Cara tumbling to the outside, and now both men once again back in the ring as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this match, and Sin Cara sends Zack Sabre flying over the top rope. Now a little ground and pound, doing it right in front of Conor McGregor, the MMA legend. He knows all about what ground and pound can do to an opponent. McGregor, one of the greatest strikers in the history of mixed martial arts. Sin Cara, look at this, full Nelson, release, German suplex, straight jacket, but Zack Sabre Jr. Easy kick out from the world-class technician. But he's still wobbly to his feet as Sin Cara out of the corner, looking for that backflip kick for a third time. Zack Sabre Jr. able to avoid it once again. Front chancery from the Mexican wrestler, and now Sin Cara Irish whip into the corner. Remember, that turnbuckle pad is still off on the near corner on the opposite side. Zack Sabre comes out with an elbow, and now Sabre tosses Sin Cara in! And Sin Cara spine first into that turnbuckle ring. And you can see, I mean, that is just pure metal. And now Zack Sabre Jr. octopus stretch, stretching out the spine, and Sin Cara has to tap out. Zack Sabre Jr. gets the win, and you can see the referee just realized that the turnbuckle pad was off. Sin Cara went flying into that ring. And at the end of the day, the impact on the spine ended up being curtains for Sin Cara as Zack Sabre Jr. got him locked into the octopus stretch, and Sabre has picked up his second straight win. His new rival, Will Ospreay, is coming up next, but we do have a big announcement to make. Next episode, in the main event of Wednesday Night Storm, Zack Sabre Jr. matches up once again with Will Ospreay, and this time it is a submission match between the two men. So much bad blood. Will it be settled in the ring? We'll have to find out next episode. But first, the Usos and GoD. We have them from separate locations, thank God. Well, they had some words.
I'm so glad they put us in different rooms for this, man. Just even being over the internet with these fools, man, this is ridiculous. GoD, what? You won one lucky match against a team that actually decided not to cheat against you like they did against us, and you think you're some hot shit? This is ridiculous. We've been running things in GAW for years, and then you show up here, win 2 matches, and then think you can step up to us. Man, what even gives you the right to think that you're on this level? Hey, you listen to these guys? You guys are jokes, man. You guys are jokes. Man, you got 2 title reigns in GAW, and now we're supposed to think that the Usos, they're some kind of legendary team? Why? Because you won a tournament that shouldn't have even have happened because the same team injured the former champions? You think you guys are some hot shit? Man, this is the exact reason why we can't wait to whoop your ass one day or the other. Man, I have never seen 2 bigger pussies than these 2. Man, if we were in the same room, you guys' ass would be on the floor. We don't play this game, Us. No. You said the Usos were washed up. That's just some phrase you throw around to mean a team that you don't feel like facing. A team that you know would wipe the goddamn floor with you when you know for damn well that we have more title reigns than you. We got 2 here, you only got 1. We've got 9 titles in our career, and you know that you can't hit that number. You know you can't get up. Whoa. The f*** you mean more title reigns? Oh, you got 9. That's real impressive. Where did 8 of those happen? Huh? 8 of those happen in a place that can't even be considered sport. And your pathetic asses think you can take credit for that. F*** out of here, man. You guys are lucky that we are in a different room right now. I could rip some throats right now, man. This is the kind of disgraceful bullshit that passes for champions in GAW these days. This is the same reason why at Nitro on Wednesday Night Storm in the goddamn parking lot, your reigns are coming to an end. Hey, listen, man, that's all well and good. You can say whatever you want. Here's the reality. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, God, we are champions. We are champions. And you, Usos, you are not. And as much as people may think they want to see GoD against the Usos, they don't. Because for anyone that considers themselves a fan of this washed up, nothing happening team, careers are going to end whenever we finally get into the ring. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have some real shit to go take care of. We got a match coming up, man. You wouldn't know anything about actually defending your titles, but God, we do.
It's just a good thing that the Guerrillas of Destiny and the Usos were in separate rooms for that interview. I mean, they might have been in separate states for all I know, and that might be what it takes to keep those two away from each other before Nitro 10, where they seem to be destined to compete for the first time ever. Coming out here is British Strong Style, a tag team that has not had a lot of success. But today, Pete Dunne gets another opportunity as a singles wrestler to find a niche here in GAW. He is accompanied by his tag team partner, Tyler Bate. He has the unenviable task of taking on a pissed off Will Ospreay. Speaking of anger, there is more than enough between Matt Riddle and Keith Lee, former tag team partners, and we just spoke to Keith Lee in the back moments ago. Here's what he had to say.
By this point, if you've been watching, you know that I have tried so many times to speak to Matt Riddle directly as a man, as a friend, as a man who traveled with me, as a man who shared bread with me, as a man who shared a locker room with me. And my old friend is gone. And what we're left with is a man with no emotions, a man with no shame, a man with no honor. And Matt, I will fight you. It wasn't a decision that I made lightly, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but it will be done.
Obviously, no love lost between Lee and Riddle. And Riddle, I mean, for a guy who, for most of his career, has been known to be boisterous and brash and never short on words, the fact that we've heard more from Keith Lee than Matt Riddle in terms of what they've said about each other and about the breakup of the Limitless Legion, I think that speaks volumes to the new headspace that Matt Riddle seems to be occupying. Let's move on to this match. Will Ospreay and Pete Dunne, countrymen, turned enemies for this match. 10-minute time limit here. Ospreay obviously not happy after what happened with Zack Sabre Jr. Ospreay's been on the wrong end of the mob several times, unfortunately. And now he has the task of taking on Pete Dunne, the Broserweight, and a man who certainly should not be taken lightly under any circumstances. A master of joint manipulation. There is more evidence of it right there. The last two, these two have never had a singles match in GAW. The last time they did face off in a singles contest was back in 2018 in IPW. It ended in a double countout, by the way. So we'll see if this one goes any better. Pete Dunne clotheslines Will Ospreay over the top. And now Dunne joins him out there. I just said that these two guys ended in a double countout the last time they met in a singles competition. So this doesn't bode well as they get farther from the ring. I'm going to need these guys to get back in. These two do have a history. For instance, back in 2016, these two fought for the What Culture Pro Wrestling, the Rev Pro Cruiserweight Championship, I should say. Ospreay looking for a big-time suplex to Pete Dunne. They fought for the Rev Pro Cruiserweight Championship. Will Ospreay beat Pete Dunne at York Hall, one of the most famous venues in all of England, for that Cruiserweight Championship, and then successfully defended it just a month and a half later by beating Pete Dunne in Portsmouth. So Will Ospreay absolutely has a history against Dunne. It's been pretty fair for Ospreay in the past. Dunne with a snap German suplex. I gotta talk about what's going on here. I'm talking about the history between these two because there is a lot of it. Meanwhile, Pete Dunne trying to make a name for himself here. X-Plex for Dunne. And now goes for the cover off the high impact to the spine of Will Ospreay. Meanwhile, in GAW, these two have gone separate routes. Pete Dunne has been nursing a back injury for a lot of his time here. And Will Ospreay has been a Cruiserweight champ and an Intercontinental champion. Off the top rope, Dunne, I think, saw a potential Os-Cutter incoming. Did the right thing. Irish whip, Dunne comes off the ropes, and Ospreay, beautiful Spanish fly. So ever since these two joined, it's been differing paths for them, but as we know, anything, anytime can change here in GAW. And now Dunn hoists Ospreay up again. X-Plex. The second one delivered to the aerial assassin, and a second kick out from the former IC champ. Jawbreaker dropkick combination from Will Ospreay. This, by the way, is like I said, this is not the first time that Ospreay has faced off with Pete Dunne in a singles capacity, and Ospreay has fought British Strong Style before. It was a 6-man tag back in FCP. Ospreay teamed up with Travis Banks and Wolfgang to take on British Strong Style. Strong Style won that match. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate teaming up with Trent Seven in that match. Seven has, of course, stayed over in NXT, where he still is. Did not come to GAW with his British Strong Style teammates. Ospreay hoists Dunne up, and Ospreay from the fireman's carry, TKO. One of the many, many moves that Ospreay can use to get on to get the upper hand in a match. And now Ospreay out of the corner looking for the Tower of London. Pete Dunne counters it, and a heavy right hand drops Ospreay. We saw Zack Sabre Jr. have a little bit of trouble with Sin Cara, so now we're seeing Ospreay have himself some trouble against Dunne as well. As I announced earlier, Ospreay and Dunne will be facing off. Or now Ospreay going for the cover. Dunne rolls him back over. Ospreay able to kick out. I said Ospreay and Dunne. I meant Ospreay and Sabre will be facing off in a submission match next episode. So both of those two guys looking to go in with some momentum. Snap German suplex from Will Ospreay. We saw Pete Dunne deliver one of those earlier. Ospreay was thinking Tower of London by going into the corner, thought better of it, but Dunne able to attack the arm again. Ospreay, boot caught by Dunne, and now Pete Dunne, look at this. Pete Dunne rolls him over into this modified sharpshooter. Wow, I don't even know what to call this move. It certainly looks painful, but Will Ospreay able to roll out of it, and a drop kick to the unprotected face of the bruiserweight. And Ospreay, boot to the gut. Ospreay double underhooks. Stormbreaker. Oh, Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate distracts the referee. That was the 3. That was the end of the match. Tyler Bate gets on the apron and prevents the count from being made. But Ospreay looking to put things away again. Can't quite hoist Pete Dunne up. Lariat from Dunne. And now Dunne rolls Ospreay into a triangle choke. Wow, you talk about taking the oxygen out of the lungs. This'll do it. Dunne trying to do his best, but look at the strength of Ospreay. Slams him. That's a typical counter that you'll see in MMA. And oftentimes it can be the turning point in a match. We'll see if it is here. Ospreay, standing Spanish fly. And now the aerial assassin about to earn that nickname as he goes up top. Ospreay 450. I thought he was looking 630. He busts that out very often as well. Pete Dunne, knees up to counter. X-Plex, no. Small package. Will Ospreay rolls him over. 2 minutes left. No, Pete Dunne kicks out. Dunne into the powerbomb position now. No, Ospreay rolls it back in. Dragon Rana, Ospreay, high stack on the shoulders, and again a kick out from Pete Dunne. Ospreay, once again, Dunne powerbomb, no. Dragon Rana, Ospreay, once again, trying to put it away with this quick roll up here, no. 2.5 from Dunne. Right hook counters Dunne, but now Dunne forces Ospreay into the corner. Double leg takedown. Ospreay pushes him off. Boot from Dunne, caught by Ospreay. The aerial assassin now, not known for his submissions, but he's trying to grind down the stamina of Pete Dunne as we come up on a minute left in this match. Really, this match should be over if it were not for Tyler Bate. Helping out his British Strong Style teammate. Boot countered with an elbow by Dunn. Under a minute to go. Ospreay, oh! Ospreay kicks the life out of Pete Dunne. But look at this, Dunne, backflip up, step up enziguri. Dunne still got some life in him somehow. Dunne looking for X-Plex again, no! Ospreay rolls it back, small package, we got 30 seconds left, no! Dunne has somehow managed to continue to counter out of these, and now Ospreay rolls him up, jackknife cover, yes, Will Ospreay! Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin with 18 ticks on the clock. The number of different and unique roll-ups and pin attempts that Will Ospreay has tried. One of them finally got the job done. The jackknife cover from the aerial assassin was enough to do it. Pete Dunne incensed. But you know what? It got the job done. No pun intended. Tag Team Championships coming up next, but we have another announcement. We know the main event of next episode, but let's talk about in 2 episodes. Yes, we need to look forward. And Keith Lee, of course, we saw him earlier talking about Matt Riddle. Well, those two will face off in a no disqualification match in 2 episodes. You are going to want to see that, I guarantee you. Folks, the Tag Team Championships are on the line coming up next. Well, the Young Bucks seem to be taking it pretty well, that they were the ones that seemingly were destined to take the titles off of the Lucha Brothers when the Lucha Brothers defected to Alpha. And then Alpha was, of course, responsible for predominantly what happened to Kenny Omega, best friend of the Young Bucks. So they seem destined to remove those titles from Alpha's grasp. But it was a legendary match with GoD that saw the Guerrillas of Destiny become #1 contenders and then eventually tag team champions. That, of course, the Guerrillas of Destiny have never looked back, and they have never looked better as a team. Capturing gold in GAW for the first time, they have been nothing short of unstoppable. And now we will get another chapter in what has been a terrific novel written between the Guerrillas of Destiny and the Young Bucks, and it happens here in the main event. This isn't the first time these two teams have locked horns here. You can see the Young Bucks donning a couple shirts that they pulled out from beneath the ring, harkening back to their shared time with the Guerrillas of Destiny in the Bullet Club. And you can see what Tama Tonga thinks about that. These two teams broke bread together as part of one of the most dangerous factions to ever grace the world of wrestling. And that, of course, ended with a bloody civil war between the Elite and the BCOGs, culminating in the Guerrillas of Destiny taking the IWGP Tag Team Championships away from the Young Bucks in a brutal match back in 2018. Nick Jackson, Northern Lights suplex with a bridge. His brother Matt has, of course, made the locomotion Northern Lights suplexes famous. So these two teams have faced off. They have also teamed together back in 2016. These 4 men teamed up with Adam Cole, all as part of the Bullet Club, to take on Hangman Page, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Briscoes in a Ring of Honor New Japan War of the Worlds show. That was a great match. So a lot of history here, despite there not being a whole lot of matches between these two teams. They've only fought each other 6 times in their entire careers. Matt Jackson, again, pop-up Hurricane Rana on the muscle of GoD. But of course, we've said before that saying that Tanga Loa is the muscle of GoD is not exactly accurate, considering how similar Tanga Loa and Tama Tonga are in the ring. Irish Whip, Matt Jackson sends Tanga Loa back into Young Buck territory. And now Matt Jackson, big strikes from the Young Bucks. Look at this combination of strikes culminating with a double foot stomp to the back, flattening Tanga Loa. And now Nick Jackson looking for the standing sliced bread, countered into a power slam. Tanga Loa delivers an absolutely massive power slam, often devastating. It's a little early in the match to go for the cover, and Nick Jackson knows it. Jackson sent back into the corner, running splash by Tama Tonga. Or Tanga Loa, I should say. These two have faced off 3 times in GAW. GoD has gotten the better of all 3. So it's a rivalry to be sure, but remarkably one-sided for how evenly matched these teams appear to be. For whatever reason, the Guerrillas of Destiny have the Young Bucks number. And I can't really explain it. Spear attempt, counter with a knee by Matt Jackson. The Young Bucks can make things right, and now a spear attempt from Matt Jackson, countered into a DDT by Tanga Loa. I can't really explain it, but this would be quite a time for the Young Bucks to shake off the curse here. Sliced bread attempt countered by Tanga Loa. Clothesline, drop toe hold into the middle rope, and now Nick Jackson with a rope-assisted knee to the throat. Presumably, if the Bucks win here, it would be Nick and Matt Jackson that take GoD's place against the Usos at Nitro. That's a match we've seen before. It's certainly a match I would love to see again. There's no question about it. Something about GoD and the Usos, something about that matchup is just tantalizing. And it's oh so close. It is oh so close. We are in episode 59 right now. Nick Jackson, package pile driver. Learned that from Pentagon. But just to give you some sense, we're in episode 59 right now. There are just 4 episodes remaining until Nitro 10. So we are coming up hot on the biggest show of the year. Tanga Loa able to get to his feet. I think Nick Jackson regrets it as he's spiked with an Alabama slam, and he is a long, long way from his corner to try to make something happen. He's able to Irish whip Tanga Loa over there, but Tanga Loa makes his way to his feet quickly. Some kicks trying to cut down the massive Tongan, and now tag in as the Young Bucks set up for the always dangerous Meltzer driver. Matt Jackson going for the cover off the Indie Taker, and Tanga Loa able to kick out. I don't know if Tama Tonga was going to be able to get there to break things up. If I were Matt Jackson, I don't know if this is the time to start celebrating. Irish whip, Tanga Loa over the top rope, able to counter with a heavy right hand. Matt Jackson stuns him. Spear again, counter with a DDT. Now Tanga Loa has that move scouted and now sends Matt Jackson into the corner. Tag in. And now GoD setting up the equally dangerous Magic Killer. Cover from Tama Tonga to win. Nick Jackson trying to get there to break things up, but Matt Jackson able to kick out. We've got matching kickouts on the big moves here. Matt Jackson, Irish whip into the corner. Big kick to the face to try to get out of it by Tama Tonga. Referee chastising Tongaloa for continuing to try to get into the ring to try to break this thing up. Referee not paying attention to what's going on here. So far, nothing untoward. Irish whip back by Tama Tonga. Matt Jackson in dangerous territory, but he's able to fight out of it. If only for a second. Back waistlock. Turned around by Tama Tonga, and now into the corner goes Matt Jackson. Tama Tonga places him on top, maybe looking for that top rope gun stun, but Matt Jackson off the top and hits him with a spear. You can see the bad blood. This is quite a match to be giving away for free. That's all I'm saying. But this is GoD. This is what they do. And we're about to see, I believe, once again, this time Tama Tonga on the wrong end of a Meltzer driver. That is not where you want to be if you are Tama Tonga. Matt Jackson out, but Tama Tonga able to kick out. Matt Jackson hits Tongaloa with the DDT, and now Tama Tonga is in trouble as he stands alone in the ring. Nick Jackson, couple big strikes, levels Tama Tonga, takedown, and a rolling kick from Nick Jackson staggers Tama Tonga into his own corner, but no Tongaloa to make the tag. Irish whip back in. Tama Tonga in a bad place now. And Matt Jackson calling for it. Buckle bomb enziguri combination. Signaled by the older of the two brothers, who now comes in as the legal man. And Matt Jackson once again referencing their time in Bullet Club with the too sweet sign, and that may have cost him. And now Matt Jackson will again hit Tongaloa with the same combination that we saw from Nick. And it sends Tama Tonga reeling into the corner. Matt Jackson drop kick. Tama Tonga out of the way. Tongaloa back in, and now Tama has the opportunity to make a much needed tag, but he's gonna try to make the big move, maybe to get out of this entirely. No, Matt Jackson again fights out of what I'm sure was going to be a top rope gun stun. The move that put away Nick Jackson in that incredible six-man match that gave GoD the #1 contendership, and now again, Meltzer driver. How many times can the Young Bucks stun the champs with that move? And Tongaloa is just able to get there to make the tag. Oh, strike to the gut from Tongaloa, and now a couple headbutts on Matt Jackson. Nick Jackson super kick misses. And now suddenly it's the Young Bucks fighting in a 2-on-1 scenario. Tongaloa dropped down to give Matt Jackson a little bit more punishment, and now Tama Tonga gun stun! Out of the corner with a gun stun. Nick Jackson on his back, and the Gorillas of Destiny have retained. Tama Tonga took so much punishment in that match, but the gun stun from the champ. And Nick Jackson once again finds himself in all too familiar territory as he stares up at the lights after being locked in the vice grip of the gun stun by Tama Tonga. GoD has retained, and let it never be said that GoD is afraid to put their titles on the line against anybody. There might not be a team pound for pound better in the world than the Young Bucks, and the GOD just went toe-to-toe and retains their titles. They certainly are on a collision course with the Usos, and we are 4 episodes away from Nitro. Folks, make sure you subscribe so you can see every episode of Wednesday Night Storm and every episode of GAW Academy Storm Chaser, because if you think things are heating up here, just wait until you see Storm Chaser. That's coming out on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. We appreciate you.
I won't break free.